A very large movement of Bhakti-yoga exists, and often people call it the path of devotion. How do you differentiate those?
So Bhakti-yoga and devotion are not exactly same. So devotion is used, it could be just a sentiment or any sort of emotion. But when we say Bhakti-yoga, then it is a Kriya Yoga. This is another word used by Lord Kapila in Bhagavatam. He uses the word Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga nati hinshrena, which means that it involves action. So we have different Vaishnava Sampradayas in India, and they all have certain set procedure to practice. If you take Sri Sampradaya, they have 7 steps. If you take Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, they talk about the Navada Bhakti, which is also described in Ramcharitmanas and of course in Bhagavatam. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. So hearing, then doing Kirtan, remembering, and they all have divisions. Remembering could be remembering of the name of their Ishta Devata, or remembering of the qualities, or of the form, or of the Leelas, Leela Smaran, Nam Smaran, Rup Smaran, Gun Smaran. So there are different varieties of that. Then there is Vandanam, reciting prayers, Das, Archanam, doing puja, worship. And then you have Dasyam, considering oneself as servant, Sakhyam, considering oneself as a friend of Bhagavan, and Atma Nivedan means submitting oneself completely in the service. So these are various limbs. And then if you read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, then Sri Rupa Goswami, he lists about 64 activities of Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is a very elaborate system, and there are various types of it, and although different sampradayas have different names for that, like in Sri Sampradaya they talk about Vivek and Vimok and all that, but there is a correspondence. The whole idea is that you have love for your Ishta Devata and you want to serve. So it is a path of action. But at the same time it is not Karma Yoga, because in Karma Yoga you are performing action without surrendering. You only surrender your karmas. Here you offer yourself to God and you perform action. And so this is actually Bhakti Yoga is having what you call the essence of both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And Bhakti, of course, means devotion. It comes from the root bhaj, which means to serve. Bhajite esha vaidhatu sevayam prakritita. Tasmat seva iti prokta sarva sadhana bhuyasi. So this is a very wonderful path of bhakti. It is considered as sarva sadhana bhuyasi, the best of means, sadhanas, to attain Bhagavan, to attain the supreme goal of life, to attain prema. Devotion can be used for this word, but we have to know that devotion sometimes is used in many different ways. And when we use the word bhakti, people may not have the same concept as when you use the word devotion. Why I am saying is that bhakti is for Bhagavan.
Bhakti is specifically for Bhagavan.
Yes. You can say Desh Bhakti and you can say Pitri Bhakti and Matri Bhakti, but originally the primary sense of the word bhakti is for Bhagavan. Now when you translate it into devotion, the people who will use this word, they don't have the concept of Bhagavan. They are not even clear about the God, because as soon as you translate this, you will say, well, devotion to God. Now if you ask what does God mean, then there is a lot of confusion and unclarity about the word God itself. So when you have the word Bhakti Yoga, then it is very clear that it is for Bhagavan.
Devotion can also have a purely secular meaning. Devotion towards your company, and you have to work very hard for your job. You're devoted to your job. You're devoted to your family.
Yeah, people use that. That he is very devoted to his business.
Right. Right.
So that's why I'm saying that when you use the word bhakti or bhakti yoga, then it is very precise.
Right.
So Rupa Goswami has explained, what is Uttama Bhakti. He says, Anyabhilashita sunyam gyan karmadinavritam anukulyena krishna anusilanam bhaktiruttama. So it is a very precise definition that Uttama Bhakti or Supreme Bhakti is when you are devoid of any other desire. Means you don't approach Bhagwan for I want job, I want money. You don't even approach.
So this is a very important point you've raised. When a person goes to the temple, beti ki shadi ho jaye, we want her health to be better, we want her to get a job, or I want my son married, or I want to get out of this problem, and they're doing some puja.
Right.
That is not bhakti?
It's not bhakti, because bhakti, it's just like people use this word love so commonly. But truly speaking, love means that when I love you, then I want to please you.
Right.
But
and it's unconditional.
It is unconditional. That is the original meaning of it. But that's not how people use it. So similarly, the original meaning of bhakti is that I am just devoted to God. I don't need anything from Him.
So is there a relationship with the idea of Shraddha?
Yes.
So let's understand Shraddha as bhakti requires Shraddha.
Shraddha is the first step.
Yes.
So it begins with Shraddha.
Yes.
And the culmination is bhakti.
So even Shraddha is not easily translatable.
Shraddha you cannot translate.
Yes.
Shraddha also is not translatable, because Shraddha itself means that you are completely fixed in your conviction.
Right.
It is unchangeable. There is nothing, no amount of argument, no amount of debate is going to change the person's conviction. That is Shraddha.
Right.
So from that comes bhakti, or that grows. That's Shraddha is like the seed, and then it comes in the form of bhakti, which means you have pure love, unconditional love for the Supreme Person.
So is another difference also that in bhakti, this love for the divine culminates in a certain relationship, which is different than in the Abrahamic traditions. When you are devoted to God, you are not going to have that same closeness.
No, there is no relation there, because how can you have relation when there is no personal form of God?
Right.
So they may call it devotion, they may call it anything, but it doesn't fit in our concept at all.
Right.
Because here there is a relationship.
Right.
He is a person. So that's a very big difference. Many times I have had this discussion with Christians or who follow, and I ask them, so what do you mean when you pray to God? To whom do you pray? And they are not very clear. They have actually never thought about it. They will say, well, I pray to energy, and I say, how can you pray to energy? What does it mean, praying to energy? So some vague ideas. So bhakti is not a vague idea like that. It is a very well defined.
But even those who take Jesus as a person and say, okay, I'm praying and He's a person, or Allah is a person, or whatever, the idea is that then the prayer is more like I'm complying with some rules He's given, so He'll take me to heaven. It's a kind of a very limited, for us it would be considered too simple.
Yes, it is some kind of sakam, you can say.
Good deed He'll reward me.
Yes.
Bhakti is not. I'm going to impress you to get a reward.
There is no reward involved here.
Okay, so that's an important point, because its devotion and prayer are certainly reward and result based.
So bhakti is its own reward.
That's a very big statement.
Own reward.
Yes.
It's complete in itself.
The bhakti takes you to a state where that bhakti is the reward.
Yes.
And there's nothing outside of that which you're looking for.
So like Hanuman is doing bhakti to Ram, he's not doing it because he's going to get something from it. He's doing it because he already has it.
So it's a certain state of consciousness which is achieved as its own reward.
Yeah, you are full. You are already feeling fulfilled in yourself. You are not doing it because you want to become fulfilled. You are full.
So let's keep the word bhakti. Let's be bhakts. Let's propagate bhakti. And it's a lot more than just devotion.